What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pursuing Purpose, episode 2. Today, joining me is this random guy I found on the side of the street, Christian Green.
What up?
No, I'm just kidding. He's my cousin. Many of you already know him from YouTube. Him and Kaylee basically run the channel.
Very popular.
Right. Him and Kaylee basically run the channel at this point. But yeah, so Christian's my cousin. I'm so excited to have him on for episode 2. And we grew up together. We're literally born 11 days apart. I'm older, not to brag or anything, but I'm older. That's very debatable. So yeah, Christian, how are you doing? You want to just kind of introduce yourself?
I'm good. Obviously, as she said, I'm her cousin. I do audio engineering and I'm a worship leader at my church. So I pursue that. I've been pursuing that for a little while, but now I am on staff there. So that's what I do as my daily job.
Hey, let's go. As far as school goes, what are you doing anything for college?
Well, I went to school spring and then I dropped out. And
Same.
And then I think I'm going to go back.
Dropouts.
I think I'm going to go back in the fall.
Okay.
For my associates. I haven't decided that fully yet, but I think that's my end goal for school.
Nice, man. Us college dropouts, we stick together.
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, so we're just gonna start with like some icebreaker questions. First thing, when you're not working, when you're not doing, that like music or anything, what's like your like hobbies, pastimes? What do you do? Hang out with your friends? What do you like to do?
I like to clean my truck.
Really? You do like to clean cars.
Do.
He offers to clean my car all the time.
I love cleaning cars.
Yeah.
I like riding dirt bikes. Mm-hmm. And working on stuff, I guess. I like to get my hands dirty.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say if I'm not doing music.
Just always doing something.
I gotta do something.
That makes sense.
Or if I'm tired, I guess, just like lay in bed.
Yeah.
Stretch out.
Right. For me, it's like, especially here recently, I've been watching like throwbacks on Disney Plus. I'm talking like from like the 1990s, like, because Disney Plus has stuff from all the way back to the 60s, which I'm like, that is crazy. So yeah, I've been watching so many like throwbacks, movies, and TV shows.
There are all kinds of movies and ads I see on like TikTok or YouTube Shorts. Like, ooh, that's a good movie. I want to go watch it.
I want to go watch it, and then it makes me want to watch it. So I've been doing that a lot, like just all these old movies and stuff, which I love. Okay, one more icebreaker question. I did not send him this in advance, so I'm about to see what his answer is.
Cool.
So, okay, here's the thing. You're deserted on an island. Okay, you're deserted on an island. You wake up and you're just on this island, okay? What 5 people would you bring with you on this deserted island? Now think, you have to survive. You have to get food, you have to build shelter, you have to do all this stuff. But you also need companionship, so like you can bring your friends. But like, what 5 people would you bring? So there'd be 6 of you on the island. Name 5 people that you would take with you.
Okay, the first person I would bring, I don't think you know him, but he works at my church. His name's Austin. He's got like all kinds of guns. He's like a hunting geek. So that I would bring him. He's the first person I would bring.
You need somebody to hunt. So
I need someone that knows all about guns. Like I know about guns, but he's got like 25, 26 guns.
Okay.
That's the first person I would bring. Second person I would bring is, oh my goodness, probably my friend Dylan, because he can fly a plane. So if we need to get away,
so you can build a plane.
We need to get away or something, or if something happens like on a boat, maybe he knows how to do it, maybe. And then I would bring my cousin Kaylee because she's just amazing to have around. She would just make everyone laugh.
You guys are a dynamic duo.
And then, I wouldn't bring you. I'm just joking. No, I would bring you.
Aw, you would bring me. I did not expect him to say that.
Let's see, what would you be doing? Probably something in creative where like, hey, let's do this because it's more creative, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Your mind thinks like that, more open.
I'd just be taking pictures with my mind.
Wait, so that's 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, so you get one more. You one more.
Oh my goodness. I would say my dad.
Your dad, Mark.
Yes.
He's good at. I think he could survive, but mainly just be cracking jokes. We'd be making fun of him.
He would, and maybe he would lose some of that belly, like him on a desert island. Maybe he would lose some of that.
I mean, he'd have to. There'd be no sweets, so he'd have to work out and lose some weight. No, we love you, Mark. Shout out, Mark. Okay, for me, I would take you because I think you're strong and fast, and you could survive. I would take Kaylee and Macy, just because I need someone to. I think Macy would be hilarious in the wild. Yeah. So just I love you, Macy, but we'd probably make fun of you.
Yeah, we would.
And then I'd bring Kaylee just because she's hilarious and she'd make fun of like a stupid situation. So that's 3. I'd bring Evan King because I think he just knows random things about everything.
Evan King, okay.
And so I think he would like help us survive. And then I'd bring Nick Spicer, just solely on the fact that he always has a pocket knife with him. And I know you do too.
I do too.
But like, I just think, and Nick just like knows, he just like knows everything, and he's so wise. So I feel like he would find some way to like take water from a river and like purify it. I don't know. He's
and
just
he
a
like
genius.
he's so serious. He's like, hey, let's get this water over here.
And he's so wise and like
Yes.
just somber in the way he talks. So it'd be very soothing. He would keep us peaceful. He'd make like good out of it. Terrible situation.
And he can sing us some
karaoke
songs.
We set up a camp, and that's like a good worship crew too. That's a solid worship crew. Like me, Macy, Evan, Nick. So we could just worship Jesus while we're on this island. No, so yeah, that's just a fun question. Okay, so let's talk about. So we graduate high school. We graduated high school together. We went to middle school and high school together. Shout out Rockville. Great memories. So tell us about your transition from graduating high school and then like starting into college and then kind of going from college, how you got to work at your, like how you got this full-time job at your church. Kind of tell us about just that transition.
Yeah, sure. So I graduated high school. And then at the time I wanted to do something in audio or worship leading or something in maybe not the church in general, but just something in that area. And so I went to Motlow for audio engineering. That was my major. And then I started it, and like I thought that I really wanted to do it, but I didn't have this like intentions. Like I wasn't like doing anything. I was just sitting in class, just listening to music on my phone. Like I didn't want
just like high school.
I didn't want to do anything. Like I thought I would. And so I was gonna drop out, and at the time I was still interning at my church, and so right before I dropped out, my worship pastor at my church asked me if I wanted to be on staff. And right when that happened, I just like started to drop out of school. Like I did all the paper stuff, like all the things I need to do to drop out of college. And so when he asked me that, he's like, "Hey, but I want you to finish your college degree." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool."
Dang
and
it.
so
I
wasn't able to start back in the spring, and so I think I'm gonna start back in the fall. But I really don't want to, because like. I don't know. Like, I don't think I have the I don't know what the word is, but
the drive.
Yeah, I don't think I would be able to just sit in class and do work in college. I know some people have to have that. Like my girlfriend, she wants to be a nurse, and she has that drive to sit and do that stuff. Like she'll study, she'll do all that stuff. She'll make time for it. I feel like I won't make time for it.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Like my experience. So I went to college and I finished and I went to MTSU and I did like video production was like my major because that's what I love to do. So I want to do for a career. And so I went, but just like sitting in those classes, I was like, man, like I'm taking classes I'm never going to use. I'm paying money, like all this stuff. And so I would get so much more just out of life and learn so much more if I just went straight into working. And so I started off part-time here at the church, but then, you know, after I dropped out, I went full-time. And so I've been learning so much more, having so much more fun, and it's hard to go back whenever you know how much fun and how much more love and passion you get out of just doing what you love to do.
Just doing what you love to do.
Exactly. So, you know, that's hard to kind of do that, especially when you're already out in the real world, working, making money. It's like, why would I want to go back? You know, when I don't. For us, it's cool because we don't necessarily need a college degree. Sure. Especially for me, like with what I'm doing, like creative work. I don't necessarily need a college degree. With like, you know, with Holly, like nursing, you have to have schooling for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's not that I don't have the drive. Like I think I could do it, and I did fine. I got good grades, but it was just like I feel like it was just a waste of time.
Yeah.
And so
definitely.
Yeah. So right now, what are some goals in like that you're trying to pursue? So like for you, what's the end goal? Like, do you want to be a worship pastor? Do you want to start your own business? Like, kind of like go on. And if you don't know, that's totally fine. Because like I honestly just don't know I don't really know what my next thing is right now either. So. You know, do you have any goals or just things you're pursuing? Working full time at the church, where is that going to get you? That kind of thing. Like, what have you been learning through all of this?
When I started, I wanted to be a worship pastor, but as I've been doing this audio production assistant world, kind of just in charge of the student area of like our high school and our youth ministry and then our college stuff. I feel like I just want to be a worship leader, if that makes sense. Like not over the whole thing, but still working at the church, still doing audio, but being just a student worship pastor over that area and not being the full worship pastor over the entire worship.
Yeah.
I think that comes with a lot more of pastoral, is that the word for it?
Yeah, pastoral.
Pastoral things that I don't think I don't think I want to do. Not that isn't that's I'm not saying that in a bad way. So I think I just want to stick with audio and worship leading. I think that's my end goal so far. Like right now, I think that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So that was worship pastor was my goal. If you had asked me a couple months ago, I would have said that. But as of now, I think that would be my goal.
No, that's really cool. And that's something that I've kind of learned just like being here. Something I love about my job is that I'm able to be creative and make videos, make graphics, but also still be involved in worship and still be involved in youth and stuff. So I think that's really cool. And here recently, I actually kind of took a step back from worship for a while, like from Maine and from youth. And, you know, something that kind of like taught me through all of that is like, man, I love worship. I love doing it. But I think because I am over our like student worship. And so kind of like you like student worship, I'm over all of it. But it kind of taught me like, I don't want to be a worship pastor, you know, like, and I love worship leading, but I think just doing what I'm doing, it gives me the opportunity to still be involved in that, but also, you know, kind of like double dip in like a lot of other ministries too. And so I think that's really cool. This is something that you've learned working at your church and doing that. Okay. So we both love music.
Yeah.
We've grown up doing music together. Where did your interest in music start? How did it grow? So I know it kind of runs in our families. No offense, it's definitely on our dad's side of the family. At least for me. I love you, Mom, but it's definitely on Dad.
We were younger, and we had things going on like the next day, like family events. She would hang out at my house, I'd go to her house when we were a lot younger. Yeah. And her mom would wake us up by just I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like, Mom, I love you.
It's funny because I would sleep on the couch in the living room, and she'd come out of her bedroom just wake up.
Like
I'm like,
singing.
okay.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, just kind of tell us like how obviously like you're born with the gift of just like singing, like you're born with that, you know.
Sure.
But how did that grow? What kind of made you want to pursue music?
I would just say my pursuit for music started I think it started more in elementary school. Because I started in choir when I think you can start choir in 3rd grade. I think I just started in choir, and I had a really good teacher, and she could tell I had a gift, and so she kept pursuing me. She was actually a Christ follower at the time, and she would ask me questions about these certain questions about music, and I think she kind of stirred up a heart for music, like for me to keep going. And so I started pursuing music then, and then I got more into it. I did like, you know, different plays in middle school, elementary school. I did talent shows in elementary school. Yeah. Man, I remember the talent show. And then middle school obviously came around, and then I had another good choir teacher, Miss Davis.
Yes, shout out Miss Davis. We love you.
She was probably one of the best person that I have ever met. Like. To help me grow in my music career. Yeah. Like in general, like she just was someone you could talk to, not just about music, but about life in general.
Yeah, she was fun.
She was really good.
And we did the musicals in middle school.
Yeah, she was a really good person. Yeah. And so I think her and my first choir teacher kind of helped me pursue that music career, I guess you would say.
Yeah. And kind of grow your passion for it.
Yeah. And so then we did musicals and plays. And then I wore yellow tights, and that was embarrassing.
7th grade. Wait, what was a Little Mermaid?
Yes.
Scully?
Scully, yes.
Yeah, Scully.
I was the bird, and then I did the bird. Bert.
I'll say, wait, hold on. 6th grade. Let's run through. 6th grade, we did Seussical Junior, and that was you were like one of the monkeys.
Yeah, it was me, Dylan, and
Evan.
Yeah.
And I was like chorus or something. I was chorus, I think, for that. And then 7th grade.
Oh, no, you also the cook, weren't you?
In 7th grade, yeah. And Little Mermaid, Chef Louie. That was a fun role. Like, it was just one song, but it was so much fun. I got to be goofy and crazy and chase Dylan around with I don't know, a hatchet, whatever you want to call it. I don't remember
when it was. That was
so that was fun. 8th grade was my favorite, though, because, you know, we were in 8th grade. I was Mary Poppins. He was Bert. And so that was really special.
Yeah,
and, like, our
fun.
2 best friends were Jane and, Lord, what's the other one's name? Macy was Jane. It's the other one. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we forgot. Dylan was.
All right, Dylan, if you're seeing this,
comment down below.
Comment down below, Dylan, what you were.
Who is Jane's brother? I forgot. But anyways, our two best friends were that. So that was a really special year for us because we had grown up doing the musicals together, and then we got to be the leads of the play that year. So that was fun. And yeah, and I think it's cool that like we've both had people in our life that, like, obviously our families have always poured into us. They've always allowed us to pursue our passion for music. And our dads, if you didn't know, our dads were identical triplets. They were in a music group together for years, traveling and, doing like gospel music and stuff like that. So obviously that started, but it's cool that we've had people in our lives that have also poured into us.
Sure.
And taught us things like, in school, and also just in like the church world too. I know you've had mentors at your church that have poured into you and allowed you those opportunities. Definitely. Same with me. Like, I would not be who I am today without those other people giving me opportunities, pouring into me, allowing me to lead worship at such a young age. And,
Sure.
I'm sure it's the same for you. And so that's been just really cool, especially being so young, just having those experiences at a young age. So what would you say kind of just like motivates you as far as like what motivates you to just get out of the bed in the morning? Because sometimes it's hard to just like wake up sometimes,
Yeah, definitely.
And something that I love about you is like you are truly a servant. And so like you have such a heart to serve others. I know that like if I ever need anything, you're always available. You're always there for me, and I'm sure you're like that for a lot of other people. And you serve at VBS and you serve at your church and all this stuff. What kind of just motivates you to do that? Like, where has that heart and that passion come to serve others?
I would say my parents have definitely put that in my heart, and guided me throughout my walk of life.
Yeah.
And then I would say my accountability partners, just in general, like people that I look up to, my mentor. I look up to, and I would say also my girlfriend at the time. Right now, she has definitely grown me a lot in my faith, in our relationship, just in general. And then I would say what motivates me to get out of bed.
Your alarm clock.
Well, at my church, we have 5 services. So we got 5 and a 7 on Saturday, and then we got an 8, 10, and 12 on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I got to leave my house at like 5:45 to be at the church by 6.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm there at 6 and I don't leave till 2.
Wow. That's
so
crazy.
I would say what motivates me is
Jesus.
I guess Jesus.
Literally.
But I guess doing what I love to do, like audio. Like I love doing it. Like I don't know why, but I never thought I would love doing it as much as I do, and I love doing it. So I get up and I'm like, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I get to go back to monitors and go do more audio stuff. I learn something every single day. Like
That's
something
awesome.
new every single day. So I would say yes, Jesus. Gets me up in the morning.
Thank you, God.
Thank you, God.
Jesus.
But I think that my passion for certain things in life helped me get out of bed.
No, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so cool that like you love music and stuff, but like audio engineering.
Yeah,
I
would never have thought
and, like,
that.
monitors and stuff like that. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like when everyone like comes and asks me about monitors, it's like, hey, how do you do that? I'm like, it's really hard to explain. Like I need to sit down with you and do this because like there's been times where people come up to me while I'm at the board with the console and they're like, hey, what's this button do? And there's multiple knobs and buttons and faders, and they're like,
you're like,
how do you look at all
How long
that?
do you have for me to explain this right now?
Yeah.
There's like this TikTok that I saw, and I'll have to find it and send it to you. But it was like this guy, and the thing was like a sound guy explaining to you why he can't just turn the music down, and then he was going into like I think it was more of like astrophysics or something, but he was like, well, the tubes are tied into this, and then the treble is like that. And so it was so funny to see, because like some people, they're like, turn the music down, and it's like there's so much more that goes
so much
into
more than
that
just pushing a fader
than
down.
just like pushing a fader down, because and I think that there's just some frequencies too that like sound weird and like stick out more than others, but it's not just turning it down, it's like tweaking. And I don't know a lot, you definitely know more than me.
Yeah, like
but just
like,
knowing more about that.
If you guys know what instruments, like lower range, like bass guitars, obviously if you're looking at a frequency board, like they're like low range, and then you got some acoustics, like my acoustic, one of my acoustics is like more of a low range, mid range, so it'd be like right in the middle. And then my other one is more of a brighter guitar, so it's higher up. Like your Taylor is a little more brighter guitar, so it'd be up higher frequency. And like frequency and EQ is not really hard to teach. I think the hardest to teach is the ear. You have to have the ear for it.
Yeah.
And that can be taught. It just needs
more time.
It needs more time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, I'm definitely like I learn by watching others do it.
Sure.
Too, or like watching videos. That's why YouTube is so amazing, because you can just search videos and learn how to do it. And so yeah, for me, I'm definitely like, show me, don't tell me kind of thing, of like, I need to see you do it before I can.
Look behind your head for a week.
Let me just stand behind you and watch you run sound, and then I should be good. So that's really cool. Okay, so you said your parents kind of like motivate you a lot. Would you say that they also kind of made you want to pursue ministry, or was there someone else in your life that kind of like made you want to pursue ministry like as a career or as a job right now?
Well, I would say my dad was an elder at the church a couple years ago, and so I wouldn't say that he every day was like, hey, you're going to do ministry. Like, I feel like he was more like, hey, I want you to do what you want to do. If you want to do ministry, do ministry out. If you want to do something else, do that. But he was always like, hey, whatever you do, you need to be honoring God.
Absolutely.
And so
that's good.
I wouldn't say that my dad or mom really like pushed me to ministry. I would say just me wanting to do interning, and I started to do all that stuff. And I would say probably the worship leader right now, going into worship pastor role, his name is Mitch. I would say he is probably someone in my life right now that helped me to pursue ministry. I would say what he does, there's always a time of laughter and fun, but he's always like hands-on, always doing this, doing that, like always there, always ready to do something. I would say as I was interning, I was watching him. I would say he's a good person in my life that really showed me what ministry was. Not that my parents, like my mom or dad, didn't show me that. Yeah. But, me interning, I wasn't seeing them every day. I was seeing Mitch all the time.
Absolutely.
So being in the church, me watching him, what he's doing, what other people are doing, really stirred something up. And I think that he is the reason why I pursued ministry. Yeah. So
no, that's awesome. For me, it's kind of similar. Like, this church, Family Worship Center, this is the only church I've ever like known. I've been going here. I think they started coming here when I was like 6 months old. And my parents both I think like 10 years ago or something, they were over our junior kids, which is like our preschool. And so they were volunteers over that ministry. And so I was here, every Sunday, 8 a.m. to whatever, and so just seeing, and it's really, I would say my mom, like just seeing her passion for the kids and stuff really made me, just want to pursue ministry, I would say.
Sure.
And just really, and I think for you too, like both our parents just like making church a priority, making God a priority in our lives above everything else, like this is, we're going to serve, we're going to get plugged in, we're going to impact other people's lives. Yeah. And then I also did an internship my junior year, I want to say, of high school with our previous communication director, Justin Siegel. And so he also, from a creative side, made me want to pursue this. He did videos and graphics and photography. That's what I love to do. So he poured into me and allowed me that opportunity to intern. And, now I've taken over his job and, as doing the creative work. So, it's just so cool that like our parents, I think it's so important that our parents made it a priority, to get plugged into the church, to serve. But also like not force us to do anything with the church, but they want us to pursue our passions. And so I think that that's just really cool.
Yeah.
So, working full time at a church right now, because this is sometimes a struggle for me, how do you balance like keeping that personal relationship with Jesus when it's also your full-time job, when you're in that church environment 24/7? How do you not get burnt out by it? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you not get burnt out by it? How do you still like, study and read and pursue him on your own aside from your job?
I definitely get burnt out. Like, I'm going to start with that. I definitely get burnt out all the time. I would say we actually just talked about this in my life group on Thursday night. We have a college ministry, and my leader had asked us about that. But I would say, my personal relationship with Jesus is sometimes hard at times, not because I work at a church, but because I do so many things all the time. And like, for example, Easter weekend 2 weeks ago, we had 6 services, so I had to be at the church at 1:00 on Saturday and then 5:30 on Sunday morning.
My gosh.
And so like that whole weekend, to be honest with you, I really didn't just sit and do anything. Like I didn't do anything for the Lord. I just was serving all the time. I would say like we have a book that we do as a staff, and I would say that's a good time I like to use when I'm reading that to go over for our staff meeting. That's when I read that book is when my personal time with Jesus is. So I do that sometimes on Tuesdays. I'm off Tuesdays and Fridays. So Tuesdays is usually the day I do that. I read the book, whatever chapter it is, 1 through 5 or 5 through 9 or whatever it is, and I'll do my notes in the book. I think that is the time where my personal relationship with Jesus is growing. That's when I do my time, and then also me and my girlfriend are doing like a devotional relationship thing together.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's like what to do in a relationship when you're a Christ follower, and what these steps are, and what boundaries you should do, what to not cross, what you can't cross.
That's so important.
So I think right now we've been slacking, but we need to get back on it.
Yeah.
Past couple of weeks we've been really busy, but we have like different chapters we do of that, and then we'll talk about it. But I would just say, like a big part of my life is I didn't know would be reading that book as a staff, and then me writing my personal notes down or talking with Jesus. Like even sometimes like when I'm running sound in the back for our youth ministry, and I'm watching and listening of kids singing, like that's when I'm also like thinking like, I mean, like, thank you, Lord. Like all these kids are here.
Like that's what it's about.
Like I think it was this past week.
That's awesome.
We had like close to 300 youth students on the Wednesday night, and they had sung what did we sing? All Hail King Jesus, if you guys know that song, and I was doing it in front of the house, and I had to turn my entire mix up like 5 or 6 dB, which if you know what that means, like that's a lot. Like 5 or 6 dB of your main mix is a lot. Yeah. That's how loud they were singing. Like I started to tear up. It was so amazing.
That's awesome.
It's so awesome to hear. I was telling the worship leader Mitch, I was telling him that I was sending him a message, and I was telling him how amazing it was just to sit back there and to watch that and to listen to that. So I would just say like things I do during the week is a good helpful tool for me in my relationship with Jesus. But I would say also just importantly like that.
Taking in those moments.
And that book. Like I didn't think like I hate reading books.
Yeah.
But
oh my gosh, yes.
Reading with like the books that we do, we have like little lines in the books as a staff, and we'll write stuff and we'll talk about it in our staff meetings. I think just that in general would be a good tool that I use. No,
that's so good. And it's kind of something I talked about in the first episode of Macy, which is like making that appointment, every single day or every single week of just like, this is the time where I'm gonna sit down and read a book or whatever. And something cool that's kind of crazy to say that, because like I hate reading. Because I was in high school, I had to read for school, and it was stupid stuff, and then I'd write an essay, so I hated it. But like now I've really gotten into reading like just like interesting like Christian books about just like going deeper into your faith. And so that's actually been like so cool because it's something I wanted to do. No one's forcing me to do it. I just wanted to do it. So that's really cool. And then to just taking in those small moments, they're not small, they're huge moments, but just like Easter, for example, like I had so much video content I had to push out. We did like announcement videos and Good Friday video, 2 testimony videos. And so I was here like working super late, and I was honestly just like, like, oh my gosh, like I have to work overtime. This is crazy. But then like just seeing the impact that those videos made in service, like people just, hearing testimonies about like, man, that video just that made them cry, all this stuff. And so just like when your work pays off and it just impacts someone, just like, with you standing in the back and like you've poured into those kids, and then them singing and pouring, they're crying out to Jesus and just worshiping him. Like that's what it's about. That's all it's about. You do all this, you work, and then, you impact others. And so, man, this has been so much fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you so much for joining. Do you have any last thoughts or any words that you just want to add before we end?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
You don't think so? We covered everything. It was really good.
Covered everything.
That's awesome. Thank you, Christian. So, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.